Okay, we got the Alpha Power battery charger. We just got off eBay, the BC-700. We're going to open it up here, see what's in the box, rip it open. Looks like that's the charger. And instructions. We're going to just go for it, see how this thing works. Okay, we're going to plug this in here. And we're going to go for it over here and just plug this in here. And then what I'm going to do is zoom in here. Try to zoom in. I'm going to go through and take some old nickel metal hydride batteries here that I've got that are they haven't been used for 3 or 4 years. We're just going to plop them in and just see what happens. See if we got smoke, fire. I got these with an Olympus camera years ago, and they're so old they had goop coming out of them. So looks like they're charging somehow. The current here, display mode. So it shows the voltage across each battery. A buddy of mine got this charger, said it's a good charger, so I got this off eBay, and it's the BC. This is the BC-700. Says it works with NiCad and nickel metal hydride AA and AAA, made by Alpha Power. I think I paid $38 for this thing, but it's got 3 different charging ranges. It's got an adapter that works from 100 volts to 240. Says here that it's got charging mode, discharge mode, refresh mode, test mode. So anyways, I'm going to try this out. It's a BC-700 made by Crosse technology. Going to try that on these old batteries here. My experience with these nickel metal hydride has been kind of goofy. If you can believe it, I first bought some of these for a ham radio, for a 2-meter ham radio back in 1996 for a 2-meter radio, and I had as a Kenwood radio, and they worked, had a lot of capacity, but they discharged like a son of a gun. I mean, if you didn't use them in a week or two, they'd be discharged. With this purple set, I got those with a digital camera. Those batteries these purple batteries here came brand new back when the earth was cooling with a an Olympus D360L Comedia 1.3 megapixel. I want to say I got this like 10 years ago, and these no-name Barney purple batteries, what I call them, they got no name on them at all, have been the best nickel metal hydride batteries I've ever owned. I've bought 2 other brands since them. I had some Everettis I bought 7 years ago, and I had some other brand, had a Sanyo, and they weren't worth a flip. In the state, all, if you charged them up and you use them with this camera or any other camera, they all would work, have a lot of capacity if you use them, let's say, in one weekend. But if you waited a weekend, they would all be like they're quarter dead, half dead, 3/4 dead. Whereas this purple set, the self-discharge has been the least of any I've ever had, and I have no idea. They probably are Sanyo, but for some reason they were an exceptional set. And I still use some of these 1.3 megapixel cameras here for doing repair work and stuff. I use them to shoot photos of things I'm taking apart. I've got probably 5 different models like this. They're kind of cheap and dumb to use. They got a problem with the clamshell tends to bust apart. They won't turn on. But anyways, this unit's got a, here's the charger. And let's see if we can scroll through and see kind of what's going on here with these batteries. I'm not even going to read the instructions because I'm not an instruction kind of a guy. This button says it's 14 milliampere hours, which is probably hardly anything. That says they've been on for 4 minutes, 0.04. That's the charge rate. Basically 1/10 of an amp, 200 milliamps. That's the voltage across each battery, 1.37, 1.33, blah blah blah. That's the charge. Now, oh, that's a discharge. Discharge refresh. Let's pull out the battery, see if we can reset it. Terrible. Probably got it confused. So the real question is, how do you change the current on here? Hold this down. It says discharge. Hold this down. Discharge refresh. Hold this down. Charge test. Hold this down. Charge. It says by pressing the mode key within 8 seconds after inserting the battery, charge, discharge, refresh, test mode can be selected. So those are in charge mode. After 8 seconds after placing the battery, select the charging current by pressing the current key. Let's see if we can take that guy out, put him in. It says if no key is pressed, it will show the 200 milliampere thing, and charge will start charging at 200 milliseconds after 4 seconds. Let's pull them all out. Let's put one in. See if I can go through and select the charge. There you go, half. Let's try 700. Well, looks like I'm going to have to read the instructions. Anyways, this unit's got a way to test batteries, in the sense you can test the capacity. You can run through and you can put a set of batteries in, charge them up, and you can discharge them, and you can get the capacity of the battery, and then you can cycle back through and see how much you've increased the capacity of the battery by going through a couple of charge and discharge cycles. And with this particular batteries I've got here, they're so old they might just be you know, beyond fixing, but it's kind of interesting here. We're going to try this out. So anyways, that's the BC-700 first try here. Obviously I probably need to read the instructions. The display here says it's 0 hours because I just put these back in. It must reset. It's the current. There's the charge. That's the current times the time, the number of milliampere hours it's got in the batteries. This says it's got a charging current range of 200 to 700 milliampere hours and a max charging capacity of 3,000 milliampere hours, 3 amp hours. So once this is on, it looks like the current thing doesn't move. You've got to use that when you first turn it on to set the mode. Display is on charge, charge current, number of volts across each battery. So I guess if the battery's dead, it's going to read, you know, or shorted out, it's going to be 0 on there. These batteries, before I put them in, if you can believe it, they actually had junk coming out. I actually had to put these in the sink and clean them all off because they had junk oozing on the terminals. They actually got splashed during Katrina, if you can believe that. I bought those before 2005, so those are old batteries. They didn't go underwater, they just kind of got compromised. These originally had a bunch of writing on here, on these in white, but it just said Olympus. Kind of strange. I'm sure Olympus doesn't make batteries, but they were some type of OEM battery for Olympus. And can't really read what the heck's on those. Anyways, we're going to leave that on. Come back in a few minutes. I'll shoot some more video.